Okay, without wasting any more time, let's start. Hello and welcome to the first ever Fish for Thought of 2025. My name is Anis Khalid from WorldFish, and I'm your host today. To those familiar with the setting, thank you again for lending your hour to join us. But to those new and wondering what a Fish for Thought is and what you're doing here, well, Fish for Thought, or FOT for short, is a knowledge sharing series established by WorldFish Comms. It is a hybrid platform for sharing, learning, and exchanging implementation knowledge on the breadth of all of our work in food systems, research, and innovations. So it's not just about highlighting achievements, but also delving into the processes, challenges, and the lessons learned. In 2025 this year, as you may or may not know, WorldFish celebrates our 50th anniversary this year, and we have extended the invitation list to welcome you, our external collaborators, be it our partners, donors, community stakeholders across research areas and countries who have played a role in all of our work or stand to benefit from them. So welcome, and do join the conversations happening online and in the chat box. Share who you are, where you're from, and how we have collaborated before. And to those listening to this audio only, thanks for joining us, podcast style. Happy to innovate with you on all forms of content. Okay, so before we begin, a bit of housekeeping rules to all members on the audience floor. And I see that number is increasing, so that's great. Please remember to switch off your cameras and microphones to avoid disrupting the speakers today. However, keep the conversations rolling in the chat, and you'll have a chance to voice your questions or commentaries during the Q&A discussions at the very end. Okay, so to kick off the first Fish for Thought of the year, I'm really excited to introduce today's topic: securing equitable food, nutrition, and livelihood benefits of artisanal fishing communities in Bangladesh, led by the ECOFISH II project. What is it, you may ask? It's a 5-year initiative that successfully ended late last year in 2024. Now, I won't go into detail as it is time for the team behind ECOFISH II to take center stage. But before that, we would like to give you a glimpse of the stories that they are about to tell with a beautiful but short video. While my colleague Shoharab gets ready to share his screen with the video and audio, I will introduce our speakers of the day. Okay, starting with the project leader, Mohammad Mokarrom Hossain, welcome, followed by the team of dedicated scientists, Mohammad Sharif Uddin, and also Mohammad Nahid. They're all with us today, and they will be turning on their microphones and cameras shortly. And not to mention, also, if we're lucky, the person who will be joining us is Ms. Salma Akhtar. She's the Assistant Director of the Department of Fisheries of Bangladesh, as well as the government focal point for the ECOFISH II project. However, Ms. Salma has notified us that she has a very important meeting that she might need to attend. So she will try her level best to join us today, but if not, she sends her apologies. So with that said, welcome and thank you again for your time and dedication. So Shoharab, over to you.
আমরা আগে মন যেভাবে চাই এভাবেই সাগরের থেকে মাছ ধরে আনতাম। দিন দিন মাছ এভাবে ধরতে থাকলে কমে যাবে।
আগে আমরা শাপলা হাতা বিক্রি করে ফেলতাম, হাঙ্গর মেরে ফেলতাম,
সিরাজাল ফেলালে, প্লাস্টিক ফেলালে, পুরা তৈল ফেলালে কি হইতে আমরা আগে জানতাম না।
Collaboration with Department of Fisheries, other government agencies, universities এবং ন্যাশনাল ইন্টারন্যাশনাল অর্গানাইজেশনস এবং প্রাইভেট সেক্টর। আমাদের মেইন ফোকাস এরিয়াস বায়োডাইভার্সিটি কনজারভেশন, ইকোসিস্টেম হেলথ ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট এবং এই যে রিসোর্সেসের উপর যারা ইউজার, ফিশিং কমিউনিটিজের লাইভলিহুডের রেজিলিয়েন্সের জন্য, এবং এটা থ্রু এম্পাওয়ারিং উইমেন।
সরকার ঘোষিত যে গ্রুপ বন্ধ দিয়েছে, কেন বন্ধ দিয়েছে এটা আমরা এভাবে এত গভীরভাবে জানতাম না, কিন্তু ওই যে ইকোফিশের প্রশিক্ষণের মাধ্যমে আমরা জানতে পেরেছি।
ওয়ার্ল্ডফিশের ট্রেনিংয়ে শিখছি যে জীবী বৈচিত্র্য কীভাবে রক্ষা করতে হয়। কাছে আমরা এখন ফেলে ছেড়ে দিই, শাপলা হাতা ফেলে ছেড়ে দিই, হাঙ্গর ছেড়ে দিয়ে ফেলাই।
আগে তো অনেক ডিম লইলে গিয়ে বেশি গেলে লইলে এখন আর এখন ডিম ফুরাই অনেক বাঁচছে, এখন সাগরের মধ্যে দিই।
ল্যান্ডিং সেন্টার বেসড যে ফিশারিজ কো ম্যানেজমেন্ট কমিটি, এটার মাধ্যমে কাজ করলে ফিশার্সদের সরাসরি খুব নিকটে থেকে ফিশারিজ ম্যানেজমেন্ট করা সহজ।
সহ ব্যবস্থাপনা বলতে আমরা সাগরের সম্পদ রক্ষার্থে, সাগরের জৈব বৈচিত্র্য রক্ষার্থে আমরা একটা কমিটি করছি, সহ ব্যবস্থাপনা কমিটি। এটার সাথে জড়িত আছে আমার বুট মালিক, জেলে, শ্রমিক, বরফ ব্যবসায়ী, মাছ ব্যবসায়ী, ইউনিয়ন পরিষদ, মৎস্য অফিস, সবাই জড়িত এখানে এই সহ ব্যবস্থাপনা কমিটি।
কুলোঘাটের কাজ হইল সাগর পরিচ্ছন্নতা রাখা, সাগর পারে এবং সাগর ভিতরে পলিথিন জাতীয় জিনিস, সিরা জাল, ফাড়া জাল, ওটা তুলে নির্ধারিত জায়গায় রাখা।
আমাদের সিটি সার্ভিসের যে দায়িত্ব আমাদেরকে দিয়েছে, এই দায়িত্ব আমরা মোবাইলের মাধ্যমে আমরা পৌঁছে দিই। 1 মাসের মধ্যে বা 5 বার গেছি বা 10 বার গেছি, যতবার যাই অতবার আমরা সাথে সাথে পৌঁছা দিয়েছি।
আমরা একটি দল গঠন করেছিলাম, উইমেন ইনকাম অ্যান্ড নিউট্রিশন গ্রুপ, উইং সংক্ষেপে, এবং আমরা 222টি উইং নিয়ে কাজ করেছি।
সরাসরিয়া শিখাইছে, 1-2 শিখাইছে, যোগ বিয়োগ শিখাইছে। এখন আগে ন জানি আমি বা তো জানিরা।
গরিব জেলে পরিবারগুলো রয়েছে, তারা যাতে স্বল্প আয় তাদের পারিবারিক আয়ের সাথে যুক্ত করতে পারে, যেমন ধরুন ছাগল পালন, মুরগি পালন।
এমপিএ এবং বায়োডাইভার্সিটি রক্ষার্থে আমাদের যে গবেষণা প্রয়োজন, সে গবেষণা কার্যক্রমের সাথেও ওয়ার্ল্ডফিশ জড়িত রয়েছে এবং ওয়ার্ল্ডফিশে পর্যাপ্ত পরিমাণ বিজ্ঞানী রয়েছেন যারা আমাদের এই সামুদ্রিক কার্যক্রম এবং সামুদ্রিক উৎপাদন বৃদ্ধির ক্ষেত্রে তারা তাদের লব্ধ জ্ঞানটা কাজে লাগাতে পারে।
জীববৈচিত্র্য রক্ষা করা এবং এর জন্যই প্রয়োজনীয় যে এমপিএ সহ আরও অন্যান্য যে সংরক্ষণমূলক যে পদক্ষেপ, এটা ইকোফিশ 2 প্রকল্প গ্রহণ করেছে এবং ভবিষ্যতে ব্লু ইকোনমি কানেক্টেড যে কার্যক্রম, সেখানে এটা অনেক বেশি অবদান রাখবে।
ইকোফিশ বিডি প্রকল্পতে আমরা মূলত নববায়িকায় মৎস্য সম্পদ সংরক্ষণে নানান ধরনের উদ্যোগ নিয়েছি, যার বেশ কিছু উদ্যোগ ইতিমধ্যেই স্থানীয় এবং জাতীয় পর্যায়ে প্রশংসিত এবং স্বীকৃত হয়েছে। আমরা সামুদ্রিক মৎস্য সম্পদ সংরক্ষণ এবং উপকূলীয় জীববৈচিত্র্য সংরক্ষণে নানান ধরনের পদক্ষেপ ইকোফিশ 2 প্রকল্পের আওতা থেকে নিয়ে আসছি। ইকোফিশ 2 থেকে আমরা যেই ফলাফল অর্জন করলাম, সেই ফলাফলগুলো সর্বোচ্চ ব্যবহারের মাধ্যমে ভবিষ্যতে যাতে আমরা সুনীল অর্থনীতির সম্পূর্ণ সুবিধা গ্রহণ করতে পারি, এগুলো টেকসই সুবিধা আনার জন্য সেই কাজগুলোকে সম্পূর্ণ পৃষ্ঠপোষকতার সাথে সামনে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাওয়া।
Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today, our presentation on ECOFISH 2 activities. With my ECOFISH 2 colleagues from WorldFish, university partners, Department of Fisheries, and NGO, I'll try to present this complex project findings, results, and lessons in a simple and straightforward way. Let's see how I can. You know, in 2017, over 1 million, I would say, Rohingya refugees entered from Myanmar into Cox's Bazar district of Bangladesh, which created socio-economic stress on host communities and also ecological stresses on the Bay of Bengal. In this situation, USAID, they came forward with $10 million for this 5 years ECOFISH 2 project to address those stresses, as well as to expand some of the previous ECOFISH Bangladesh projects best practices in the areas of ECOFISH's zone of influences areas. ECOFISH 2 designed to achieve the goal of improved social and ecological resilience of coastal fisheries, securing equitable food, nutrition, and income benefits of artisanal fishing communities. With the 2 objectives in USAID's language, it is intermediate result. improved management and governance of natural resources that forms the foundation of fisheries. And another objectives, improved equity and resilience of food, nutrition, and livelihoods. However, we designed our activities to achieve their goal through achieving those two objectives under the 4 sub-IR: improved science outputs for decision making, improved adaptive co-management and fisheries governance, improved policy support, and improved livelihood resilience of coastal fishing communities. Before entering and during planning of our activities, designing the implementation strategies, program strategy, we really analyzed the vulnerabilities of artisanal fishing communities. We used our data of basic household information collected by our monitoring and evaluation team. See how severe, vulnerable they are. They earned only $2.23 per day for the family. It's almost 5 members family. And around 50% of the household, they don't know or don't have any secondary occupation, only relied upon on this fishing income. 76% households are affected by the climate change. And nowadays, due to different government regulatory impose, as well as repeated frequent climatic events, the active fishing days reduced to less than 40%. It is 157 days out of 365 days. And 90% of these fishing households, they don't have boat, they don't own any net. And 83% household really showed lower dietary diversity. Gender disparity is prominent in these coastal fishing communities. Women are more vulnerable, and the households, they showed lower resilience capacity. Keeping those in mind, EcoFish decided to work on the areas of megafauna conservation, promotion of ecosystem approach to fisheries management, establishing adaptive co-management. To utilize the mariculture, we decided to work on the seaweed and green mussel farming, women empowerment, ecosystem health assessment and improvement, coastal biodiversity improvement, marine protected area delineation and management, fishers' livelihood improvement. EcoFish 2, this is a coastal fisheries project, so we concentrated our direct intervention around the coastline of Bangladesh. And we worked in 13 upazilas of 5 coastal districts through 7 EcoFish 2 field offices. And as agreed with USAID, because their focus also was to work with the host communities. So we also put our major efforts in the Cox's Bazar, which is the zone of resilience. We work closely in close collaboration and consultation with Department of Fisheries, both in field and headquarter level. And we worked in partnership with 5 reputed universities in Bangladesh and 3 NGOs and of course private sector actors. Also, we worked during field implementation with informally, we had good collaboration with other public departments like Department of Agricultural Extension, Department of Livestock Services, Bangladesh Fisheries Development Corporation, Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, Bangladesh Oceanographic Research Institute, and many public sector actors active in those different locations. Moving to the very much programmatic areas, science for decision making and adaptive co-management. Under this component, we worked in ecosystem health improvement, citizen science-based catch monitoring, fish landing and price monitoring, megafauna conservation, stock status observation, adaptive co-management, fisheries governance, engaging stakeholders, support DOA for improved policy formulation. In the areas of ecosystem health improvement, we adopted and we utilized local youths as volunteers. As a result, we trained and equipped 140 local youths as Blue Guard, and they conducted 363 awareness campaign, and they removed 36 metric ton of plastics and discarded nets, which really contributed reducing pollution as well as, I think, some extent ghost fishing. Our team regularly monitored water quality, some of the selected spots of those coastal areas, and we organized campaign on biodiversity conservation and ecosystem health for coastal level schools, and 1,750 school boys and girls attended those events. I think they are the future messenger. In the areas of biodiversity assessment and conservation, with our partners, we assessed marine fish larvae from 6 coastal spots and 25 larval families identified. We completed barcoding of 23 species. 3 new marine species identified in the Bay of Bengal. Our trained boat skippers and our boat crews, they released 236. I need to mention that this 236 was recorded. There was some unrecorded, because this recorded means they recorded with a video, short video clip, and many of our fishers, they don't have this Android phone, so there are more, but this is the recorded megafauna release. And 149 turtle hatchlings we released from one of the ECOFISH supported community managed turtle hatcheries. And ECOFISH II supported DOA by assessing biophysical situations for 3 new MPA declaration. We adopted citizen science approach for fisheries dynamics study, and we trained boat skippers and equipped as well. We trained and equipped boat skippers, 50 boat skippers as citizen scientists for conducting onboard catch per unit effort. And we also trained 11 local youths as landing center facilitator for fish landing and price monitoring in 10 selected fish landing centers. With our partners, our volunteers, we collected data for 17 important marine fish species, for stock status observation. And we found healthy stock for Hilsa shad, Indo-Pacific king mackerel, red snapper, Bombay duck, spotted catfish. However, our data showing moderate depletion of black pomfret, 4-finger thread fin, critical depletion Chinese pomfret and Sona sea catfish. You can see those 10 photos of 10 fish species. For those species, our volunteers, they collected more in-depth data like length, weight information. So we have those detailed information of those 10 selected species. Okay, moving to the formation and strengthening of co-management organizations. Over the years, from our experience, we found the fishers, the users of the natural resources should be the building blocks of the co-management organizations. They are scattered, they are weak, their voice is low. So we had to find some mechanism to ensure their representation in the co-management organization. So we organized almost 15,000 fishers in 369 fisheries conservation group. Just quickly, I am mentioning, we adopted household-based approach, and we worked directly with 15,000 selected fishing households as direct beneficiaries. So from the main of those fishing household, we taken men and organized them in the fisheries conservation group. This group working for biodiversity conservation and responsible fishing or too many other things. And we took women of the fishing household in our women income and nutrition group for income, nutrition related and other empowering initiatives later on, I would say. So we organized 15,000 fishers in 369 fisheries conservation group. Then we further organized its kind of apex body in a village level, and we organized 64 village-based fisheries conservation group. And from these groups, there will be a representation in the co-management organization. This very quickly, it's probably a little bit clumsy, but this not that much. In the map, you can see the yellow small dots around these areas. We, ECOFISH II, supported, facilitated in organizing, in establishing co-management organization in 10 fish landing centers. This is the message from that map. And you can see how we organized landing center-based co-management organization. We organized for this project. From this project, of course, in very close support from the Department of Fisheries, I should recognize. So organized 10 this landing center-based co-management organization. You can see the stakeholders, as well as we ensured like some of the trained fishers like citizen scientists, landing center facilitators, blue guards, boat skippers. They're well trained. So they all together formed landing center-based co-management committee. During the process of forming this committee, our team, they have done profiling of the landing centers, a series of consultation meeting we had to do initially for different groups, then together. And after forming the landing center committee, ECOFISH II supported the committee for formulating annual work plan, then also is supported monitoring their progress, fine-tuning for future. So how we really work in the fisheries governance, and this is some of the example. So we really tried to engage the stakeholders, and we decided to promote ecosystem approach to fisheries management, this concept. And we wanted to build their capacity and awareness on this. And we provided training. 48 participants received training. We hired very well-experienced, reputed international experts, and we trained them. And those participants from different department and different contexts, they prepared their own EFM plan. In the other kind of stakeholders, I said the supply chain actors maybe. So we organize training, different training on, say, like one training is on biodiversity conservation, safety at sea, responsible fishing. You can see the number of people, 1,835 boat keepers and owners, they received this training. The project conducted almost 500 awareness events on fishing ban, climate change, plastic pollution, and we provided training on reducing illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing for 735 participants. And we also distributed first aid box, life jacket, and training on those for 522 participants. I think some of the key policy we contributed, supported Department of Fisheries, Government of Bangladesh. I mentioned already with delineation of 3 new MPAs in Bangladesh. Government already declared NAP MPA, and that raised total MPA percent 6.82%. Bangladesh need to reach the SDG target of 10% of their EEZ. Declaring MPA is good, but without managing this effectively, you cannot, realize the potentials of this MPA's declaration. So government understand that. We also supported in preparing management plan for already declared Nizum Deep MPA. The project developed low traffic extractive medical study strategy, Hilsha transboundary management framework. Hilsha is the highly migratory, revised Hilsha fisheries management action plans just to update with the changing situation context, management guideline for native catfish pangas. We conducted number of very good, very important studies, our livelihood studies, our gender studies in place, project evaluation studies, but I think for this audience, just would be good to mention it on the request of Department of Fisheries and USAID as well, like this fisheries blue economy, to see the opportunities, challenges, and way forward. Exploration of non-conventional fishery products and potentials to enhance blue economy of Bangladesh. Developed organizational modalities for landing center-based fisheries co-management organization and assessed coast gears and recommendations to protect marine environmental health. Colleagues, I like to just move from these high technical areas to the livelihoods, what we have done for improving the livelihood resilience of our beneficiaries of the project. You can say participant as well, but USAID, they like us to tell beneficiaries. We worked in 84 coastal villages. I mentioned already in 13 upazilas of 5 coastal districts, and we reached 15,000 coastal artisanal fishing households, though they are poor, small scale. The approach we undertook. I already mentioned the vulnerabilities of the fishing households, starting from low income, ending to Rohingyas, refugees influx related stresses. So we decided it's, as a project, we have limited scope, limited resources, limited time. So we decided to work in the areas of alternative income generating options as well as nutrition sensitive food production system. 2, on the areas of gender equity, nutrition improvement, and conservation, improved conservation, and to build their adaptive capacity, access to market, as well as household livelihood strategies. There are some work. This is activities level, like we work with the women and we build their capacity, number of capacity building training on different aspects, critical input support, or you can say startup support for those system. And also we facilitated basic literacy courses, and also I cannot see. Also regular savings, awareness raising, horticultures, and linkages with the markets, services, different services, with the hope, probable outcome of transformation in the areas of household economy, nutrition security, women empowerment, resilience capacities, as well as biodiversity conservations will really lead to improved equity and resilience of food, nutrition, and livelihood of benefits. I'm not going to read everything. The nutshell of this slide is organized more than 6,500 women into 222 women groups, and they engaged for basic literacy, awareness on nutrition, conservation, primary health, like that, as well as they engaged in regular savings. The project trained 15,000 women on different income generating activities, year-round vegetables production in their homestead areas. And we conducted, more than 400,000 sessions, basic literacy session, business literacy session they call, and also nutrition education. We supplied booklets, nutrition plates. We provided conservation awareness, conducted research and development of seaweed. I will explain a little bit later on. Green mussel. One areas I should mention, 1,390 women we supported for safe dried fish production and marketing. I think, and also we worked on the ready-to-use products out of dry fish and seaweed with our partners. Please, let's see some of the many results. Shifting towards diverse income sources, a significant shift from reliance on fishing to diverse income sources we observed from our different performance studies. In baseline, over 90% of the household relied solely on fishing. Now, 68% engaged in both on-farm and non-farm activities. And that's also reflects in the total income. You can see this from this graph. Total income increased, you can see, in 62%. Fishing income as well increased 32%, but more than 900% on-farm income increased from their very limited homestead resources. This is that you can support, you can diversify their income, as well as non-farm income increased. And you can see farming of vegetables, year-round seasonal vegetables also increased. Baseline, it was 23% women household was practicing. Now it is 77%. In the areas of food availability, the project performance we found enhanced food availability, reduced deficit, while increased surpluses. You can see the right side, this graphical representation. Even break-even, food availability break-even increased. Improved household dietary diversity score for 91% households, and around 55% reached an acceptable level. Improved nutritional knowledge score from 45 to 73 on 10 basic nutrition aspects. In the areas I said, I will little bit highlight on this seaweed and green mussel work. So with our partners, we developed, this is for Bangladesh, we developed floating culture techniques for 2-3 seaweed species. And our scientists, they have done a site suitability maps for seaweed and green mussel. And we developed a tissue culture protocol that will enable for regular seed supply for the farming. You know, this now we depend on natural sources, so this always vary. And we develop for end user forward markets. We develop nutrient-rich dry fish and seaweed powder. This is ready-to-use product. So we are with private sector. We are working and captive breeding based farming technology for green mussel, as well as we develop depuration protocol for green mussel to supply safe food for the consumers. Coming to the big splashes, some big numbers. This project raised directly to 72,000 men, boys, girls, women of 15,000 coastal fishing households, and around 12,000 stakeholders attended almost 500 awareness building campaigns on biodiversity conservation. 45,000 neighboring households. I think this is conservative measurements, indirectly adopted good practices of income generation technologies, homestead horticultures, and other messages. And 1.33 million individuals reached through posters, leaflets, media engagement, and other strategies to raise awareness about coastal and marine biodiversity conservation, different bans declared by the government, and too many other things. Ladies and gentlemen, our scientists from WorldFish, from our university partners, during this 5-year ECOFISH II project, they published 30 scientific articles in peer-reviewed journals. Please join me to congratulate them. Congratulations, big congratulations, scientists. This is the last slide. I will not bore you. So, few lessons. Conservation measures should be context specific. That should be more appropriate and effective. Legal framework, strong institutions, financial instruments needed for successful fisheries co-management. Enhancing household productive systems, effective for small-scale fishing households. Just 1 minute. We sometimes feel, okay, give something new, that is exciting, but we found if you can enhance their existing production system, suitable within their limited resources in the household, that's very much, it's proven effective for women of those households. Understanding local knowledge, essential for improving livelihoods, conservation and ecosystem health. Participatory training on basic literacy, gender, nutrition, and conservation improves awareness, strengthens community cohesiveness. Synergy of women's empowerment and men's awareness, effective for sustainable conservation and livelihood improvement. This is all. Thank you very much. I guess question and answer will be later on. I'm back to Anis. I hope that I have not taken more time than given. Thank you.
Thanks, Mokarrom. That was really something. I've worked with this team for many years now, but it's always fascinating to hear the results, lesson learned, and the impact at scale achieved from their work in advancing coastal and marine fisheries in Bangladesh. Mokarrom, you touched on the importance of management and governance, I believe, in your slides. And we could see from the beautiful maps and visuals that you shared, I believe from slides 13 to 20, you put an emphasis on the management and governance aspect of this project, right? And I wonder if the project's fisheries co-management scientist, Mr. Sharif, who's online with us today, could share his perspectives on integrating the ecosystem approach from fisheries management to perhaps ocean governance. So, Sharif, over to you. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Anik. I think, yeah, could you hear me? Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon from Bangladesh. I think all of you are okay. Yeah, from my experience with the actual fishermen, that means small scale fishers in the Bay of Bengal in Bangladesh, what I have seen that for marine fisheries management, government just only relied on top-down approach, enforcement-driven approach. But the government for this enforcement approach just imposing ban, some regulations, increasing patrols. But what is the ultimate result? Even though the illegal fishing is, IU fishing is increasing and resource depletion is occurring, it is reported. What we have learned, what is the missing link? Meaningful stakeholder involvement. That is the missing link. We feel that. However, government of Bangladesh, with the development partners like WorldFish, started how they can just shift the and that is engaging the stakeholders especially. So for lasting the conservation requirements, now government with other development partners we are trying to with some system. One is a system approach to fisheries management, just going beyond the regulations to establish a framework from sustainable ocean governance. Not only the enforcement, but also the stakeholder engagement is very essential. At least we understood this. The shift begins with co-management. And from WorldFish II, we started to establish co-management organizations for the coastal small-scale fishers. And with the support from government department, that is Department of Fisheries, piloted some co-management organization that is fish landing-based co-management organizations. And we found it starts very nicely, but we are informed that by this time we are at the age of our project period. So, but as of now, we know that they are working well. Just the day before yesterday, one co-management organization just mobile call to me, and they informed that they are going to organize one very good meeting with sub-district, that is Upazila Nirvahi Office administration, to reduce or to deter the sea piracy in their area. And they are working for that. Now they have one platform as they can work with that banner. However, co-management is a long-term initiative. We have started in Bangladesh. For the inland fisheries, we have some history, a good history. But for marine fisheries, we have started it. And we found it is working well. But to make them efficient and existence for their need to introduce some sustainable financial mechanism need to develop, and also a strong legal framework. By this time, we have in Bangladesh, we have Marine Fisheries Act, Marine Fisheries rules, and some guidelines over there. And about co-management, some points are there. So need to produce some specific guideline for co-management approach for the coastal fisheries management. That is the time now. That is the time to ensure the long-term success of marine conservation. From ECOFISH II side, we also recommended for exploring functional instruments such as payment for ecosystem service and other market-based investment that promote stakeholder engagement and sustainable resource management. But who, how, when, and we can start. that is our discussion point. And I think from Bangladesh side, I would like to say that we are late, but late better than never. We need to start this co-management approach for fisheries resource management. That is very essential for us. So thank you all for offering your time.
Thanks, Sharif. And I see that the people in the chat have hands put up, have questions in the chat, and we'll get to those very quickly. But before that, I would like to invite Mr. Nahid over with us. He's the project's livelihood resilience scientist. Nahid, please share with us your thoughts on how can we put small-scale fishers first in conservation initiatives like what Sharif has shared just now. Over to you.
Thank you, Anis. Yes, conservation is not just rules and regulation. We all know that. It is about empowering the people who rely on these resources the most, our small-scale fishers. Without their active involvement, conservation efforts often fall short. This is why it is crucial to place fishers at the centers of fisheries governance. The ECOFISH project shown that when fishers see the economic benefits from conservation or earn from alternative sources, they become a strong supporter of sustainable fisheries. So the project introduced a variety of alternative income generating activities and also strengthen household-based production systems to help fishing families to cope with income losses during fishing ban. Our approach is, instead of forcing them out of their profession, ECOFISH provided options that reduced fishing pressure while securing their livelihood. Our approach is inclusive. As Dr. Mokarrom mentioned, we engaged women in women income and nutrition groups and men through fisheries conservation groups. These initiatives not only help families earn a stable income, but also empower them to take an active role in conservation. So when fishers are financially secure, they become natural champions for protecting marine resources. And the impact of this approach is clear and evident. In ECOFISH-supported villages, we have seen over 90% of fishers now comply with 65 days marine fishing ban and this 22 days hillshore fishing ban. I think it is a remarkable achievement. Additionally, trained fishers have rescued and released more than 236 threatened megafauna, including turtles, dolphins, rays, with many more undocumented releases. Fishers have also become proactive in tackling marine pollutions, collecting plastic wastes from their boats, safely disposing of abandoned fishing nets to combat ghost gear. This success proves that when fishers take the lead in conservation, real change happens. It is not just about saving fish, it is about protecting livelihoods, securing food security, and safeguarding marine ecosystem for future generations. So livelihood matters in conservation. So we need to focus fishers first policy in our conservation efforts. Thank you.
Well said, Nahid. Thank you so much. Now, with 10 minutes on the clock, let's not waste our time. I would like to invite all speakers to turn on their cameras and microphones and also open up the conversation to everyone here. So I know we have a couple of questions in the chat, and I would like to invite you to also join in the conversation. So we have one from Mike Ackister. I see that you have your hand up and you also have a question in the chat. Our regional director for Asia Pacific, please, question to the speakers. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Anis, and thank you very much for the great presentation and congratulations on clearly a very successful project. Well done all. I'm based in Myanmar, as you know, and I'm aware of the the events of 2012, where the geographical indication was agreed, that the Hilsha fish is a fish of Bangladesh. Hence my first question, and I do have two questions. The first one is, how, in that context, how is the transboundary work between India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar working now? That's my first question. And the second question relates to catch per unit effort. And I note that the project was successful in promoting participatory monitoring of artisanal fisher catches. I'm wondering if that work continues now after the project closure. Thank you. Over.
Okay. Okay, let me. Hi, Mike. I know when we organized this meeting, you also helped connecting some of the people for transboundary matters. So what happened, and you understand the context now. Now it is more complex, but what we have done, we virtually connected and we get some feedback. I would say, I'm not saying that tremendous feedback we received from other countries. So what we have done, based on the whatever available feedback we found from out of our survey forms, the questionnaire, our consultant they proposed a framework. So this is up to that level. Now this is up to Government of Bangladesh, Department of Fisheries to, communicate and coordinate to progress this one. But so far I understand now Bangladesh government also trying to address some of the issues our fishers are facing, like, our fishers complaining when our ban period is on, then India's ban period is not on. So Indian fishers, they come into our areas. So we are trying, Dr. Sharif, he was former director of marine fisheries. He can correct me as well as supplement. We are, Bangladesh government also trying to accumulating scientific data, and they are also using our data. I'm not saying entirely our data, but using some of our data, and they are trying to harmonize, to address those issues. This is number one, your transboundary frameworks thing. Another thing you asked.
The work
on continuation. Okay. This is
catch per unit effort.
Catch per unit effort. This is science. Department of Fisheries, they need to do this regularly. We trained, we worked closely. Department of Fisheries also aware. We handed over our list of citizen scientists, and so far we talked during our closeout event. The Department of Fisheries, they committed that they will also review. They will also try to incorporate in their normal statistical information system. But I think Dr. Nahid and Sharif, please feel free if you. I think we need to be brief so other can also ask questions. Sharif, do you have any more thing or other?
I think you covered almost all the things. The recent update is that for synchronizing the fishing ban period with neighboring countries of Bangladesh, it's almost fixed, and by another 10-15 days we can get no new fishing ban period that will just coincide with our neighboring countries for 65 days to 58 days. From 15 April, it's almost finalized, and gazette notification will come before us by another week. This is the thing. And by this thing, the common complaint from our fishers end, that will be, I think, coming down. Thank you.
Perfect. And we have a few more minutes on the clock. There is one more question from an audience member named Farouk Islam. He said, great work, learning a lot and thinking what next or key way forward. And I think that's a question that we all would like to know with all of the achievements and all of the impact that the EcoFish project has achieved thus far. So how do you ensure the sustainability remains? Over to you guys.
I think this is also, guys will rely upon me because, okay, very quickly, first I need to make a clear statement about this is a conservation project. So you need to think about the traditional market will not quickly take over all those things. So conservation project, you need to really compensate, you need to really put monies, but there are evidence. If you invest in conservations, that can give you return. I recently published one of the interesting paper by our Nahid and other colleagues. I think Dr. Isam also part of that paper. So this is one thing. So somebody need to invest, either public departments or donors. But what we can see, how we can say the sustainability, like we developed number of local level volunteers, and some of them already engaged in like women community volunteers. They are now acting as a local service providers. We supported them starting for business based on those homestead production systems, and also those trained blue guards. So we connected them with the co-management organization. But the question is how this co-management organization will continue. For that, you need government guardianship as well, government support as well, and also Dr. Sharif mentioned that you need to find some way of financing, maybe payment for ecosystem services and other options. And really, this is very important that you need to engage resource dependent users, stakeholders. You need to operate co-management organization. You need to really manage the marine protected areas. So this is a big question, as market automatically will not be interested. So you need public interest from donors and public department organizations. But I will leave for my colleagues, Dr. Nahid, Dr. Sharif, and others. My university partners also there. Please feel free to come on.
Yes, Mokarrom bhai. That's why in our journey we advocated our government counterpart to undertake some policies. So we hope when the government start the policy at the ground level, for example, we supported development of Nahiduzzaman Marine Protected Area Management Plan. So when the government start this management plan in the ground, fishers and stakeholder can conservation and sustainable management, fisheries management benefits.
Okay, and that's that on that. Any other last words? We are 1 minute past 4. Okay, one last.
Okay, since last more comment is, I really, this project closed. We are also very closer to submitting our final reports. We are almost completed. So through this forum, I like to really extend my sincere thanks, because this is really a complex project. And I also joined in a complex situation, but this is a tremendous teamwork from WorldFish colleagues, from our partners, 5 universities I mentioned, our NGO partners, and also our corporate services from Dhaka and headquarters. From my team, on behalf of my team, I like to really congratulate you, thanks you from our heart. So this is all, and thanks very much for your time, and you again come and listen to our presentation. Thank you very much.
Very well said. And with that, my last words would be, well, Fish4Thought is really a platform for knowledge sharing and exchange. And all of you are all you all know each other's emails, so you would have the chance and the opportunity to connect with each other and to continue on the conversations beyond what we talked about today, to see the continuity and the sustainability of this project moving forward. Really excited to see what happens in the coming years, and yeah, hope to see more conservation initiatives such as this one being implemented and scaled in other projects in other countries as well. And with that, I thank all of you, Mokarrom, Nahid, and also Sharif, and also Shoharat behind the scenes, and everyone involved in putting together today's Fish for Thought. It is the first one of the year, like I said, and we have more coming throughout the year. Just a bit of advertisement for those who are still here. We do this Fish for Thought every month. So if you're interested to have such a platform as these wonderful people just did, please do contact me, and we'll see how we can take your projects and your initiatives further to the global audience. So thank you so much. And with that, it's a wrap. Thank you. Big applause to all of you. And thank you so much to all of the audience today.